Hello there, aspiring tennos. Today we're gonna talk about flipping and the pitfalls that comes with it. I really don't think that it's a great method of trading most of the time, but I'll get into that in a moment. First up, as you can see, I have a new border around my face cam up here. If you want your name to appear, go ahead and follow me over on my Twitch. Link will be down in the description. The Discord is doing really well, and if you want quality advice, you can get it from there. Also, we're almost at 300 subscribers, so if you guys could go ahead and subscribe, that would be very nice. I appreciate it a lot. Now, let's talk some Warframe. The topics which we will cover today is what I call the golden ratio per trade. Then I'll cover buy orders to sell orders and why that's a really bad way of flipping in general. And then I'll cover the real deceptive cost of credits when it comes to flipping. And then I'll talk about the exceptions when it can actually be good to trade. Oh, sorry, to flip. It's generally speaking, it's good to trade. Anyways, let's get right into it. So first up, we have the golden ratio per trade. So, and there is a few exceptions which I will cover at the end, but you have to make 25 platinum per trade in order for it to be worth it. Now, that doesn't mean that the price difference between the item you're buying and selling should be 25, because that's two trades, one buying, one selling, so the difference should actually be 50. Now, in the range between a difference of 50 and 100, it can be worth trading. You have to use some common sense. It really comes down to how long it takes you to get the trades and how long you have to keep your platinum invested, because the longer you have to keep it invested, the larger of a chance there is that something cataclysmically bad is going to happen, such as the item being that you're investing in being re-released into this cycle of content, at which point it will lose all of its value. Now, if the difference is more than 100, then you should always flip it. If you see an opportunity, that doesn't mean you have to go hunt for it, but if the opportunity presents itself to make more than 100 platinum over two trades, or just 100 over two trades, then you should always do it. That's the basic rule of thumb. Now, again, exceptions to apply. We'll cover that at the end. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at Warframe.market. We are here with Mirage Prime. And the thing about Mirage Prime is that right now, this one is at 100, but as you can see, we have a lot of 110s up here. And so somewhere between these, or if you're willing to wait a little bit longer, probably 110. And we have some buy orders here, which comes in at 85. Then we can sell it. A pretty decent difference all in all. Let's just say that the difference is 20 or 25. You might look at that and say, well, that looks like a lot of easy platinum, and that's why it's so deceptive, right? You're making 20 platinum over two trades, so that's the same as selling a 10 cost mod, which I recommend that you do go ahead and actually do. So why is this so bad then? Well, first up, if you say, you have to expend two trades on it, and then there's the investment, because you're putting platinum into it, and every time you put platinum into something, you risk losing some of that platinum. Now, in some cases, the risk is so low that it's almost negligible, such as investing in a frame before it becomes vaulted for the first time. That's one of the safest investments you can make. Also a bit of a slow one, but that's just an example of it. Now, with Mirage here, and let's just move on to the second part of this, which is the cost of credits, because it's two trades. So first up, you have to go ahead and buy the set, which I think is 36,000 credits, and then you have to sell it again for 100 or 110, but let's just say 100, and then we still assume that we're getting the 20 platinum profit overall over two trades. Now, the thing here is that you're paying the credits, which it costs of the entire set, but then you're also paying the price of 100 platinum, even though you're only profiting 20. So the ratio of platinum income compared to credits spent is really high. especially if you're flipping some of the more expensive items. And the thing is, if you're looking at something like Titania, for example, she is her sell price is about 30, so obviously her buy price isn't going to be 10, it's going to be closer to 25. The more expensive the item is, the larger of a difference there's going to be between the buy and the sell order. But the consequence of this is that it's very credit hungry, and if you have to go ahead and then run a load of index to keep up with this method, then you are wasting even more time that you could have spent just farming actively. That's why it's so bad in particular to farm here on Warframe.market. So don't fall into the trap of investing like not long term but just short term, I guess that would be, because it simply is not worth it. Finally, let's go ahead and discuss the exceptions. So this is when you make less than 50 over 2 trades, so less than 25 per trade, I guess I should say. When is that okay? Well, if it's extraordinarily convenient or easy to flip, then you probably should consider doing it. For example, right now we have the L4, and yeah, I can very easily get 5 or 6 trades at once, and when people then buy them in the future, then I will be able to sell 100 at a time. I've done it multiple times, so I believe in this wholeheartedly. Now the other part of it is that I pay 50, and right now I'm gonna get 72 back, but if I wait for it to increase just a little bit up to, I think it's 15 per each of the L4 relics, then I'll be able to get 90 per trade. So that's a 40 difference. So it's almost up to this. I mean, I'm making 20 per trade instead of making 25. Considering how excruciatingly easy this is, I'll say it's absolutely worth it. Generally speaking, and this kind of goes back to what I was talking about in my when to farm what video, but this mostly happens when there is a misunderstanding of how much something is going to be worth within a short amount of time. So basically, this happens when events occur or mini events. For example, if Warframe Prime was brought back with Battle Kit here, you can think of that kind of as a mini event, but it's mostly when events happens. Also, if new content comes out and it's extremely wanted, kind of difficult to farm as well, then for a couple of days after it's released, this might also be possible, but that's way more risky, so be careful about that. Make sure that you observe the market a little bit, or wait for me to do a video on it maybe. And I mean, it can work, but be careful. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you can buy quickly in bulk a lot at once, making it very convenient, you can go a little bit below the price, but I'll say this, I would never go below 30. I would not even consider it. No matter how easy it is, it's just not worth it. It might look good on paper, but as you will see in practice, it just never works out quite as well as you want it to. So yeah, that's basically my 2 cents on that. Basically, don't do flipping, but if you are going to do it, then try and get the golden ratio per trade. I guess I'll mention as well, if you decide to flip ribbon mods on rolls, it's the same principle. Make a list of the most valuable ones, and then you can just, every time you log on when you start your Warframe session, just spend 5 minutes combing through this list, taking out each of the ribbons. You should note down the high and the lows for a couple of days, and then when you notice a difference, which when you are confident that this difference is real and that the high selling price will net you 50 platinum over 2 trades, then go for it. Anyways, I think that's everything I wanted to cover in this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.